yoga blocks on hand. I don't have any right here. I have a million in my house, but none right here at this moment. They're good to have around, always good to have with you when you practice, but they won't be needed. So I'll always offer you modifications without. But if you have them, I always recommend having them. Or any props that you may typically use, have them nearby. If you do like music during Shavasana, it's nice to kind of have that set up beforehand. So maybe if you want to have your music nearby so you can just press play later. If you want to make sure you have blankets, if you want to relax later, pillows, anything that makes you comfortable. I recommend, unless you really like a cold room, I recommend the room not being too cold. If you feel cold, maybe grab another layer or turn the heat up a tiny bit. That's all up to you. And then we're going to find a comfortable seat. So if you can sit with your legs crossed, sit with your legs crossed, because that's just going to let us get a little bit of access to the hips, a little bit of stretching into the hips, okay? If that's no good, if it's really uncomfortable, if you've got something going on with your knee, or if your hips just feel really tight, or the back, if something just doesn't feel good, then you can sit any way that feels best. That's fine. But sit up nice and tall. Sit in a way that lets you sit tall. So sometimes we'll sit in the cross-legged seat because that's what's been suggested to us, but it's really uncomfortable. So we wind up having to kind of hunch forward, and we don't use our core, and the back starts to get sore. So we don't want that kind of situation. We want to be comfortable. So if you have blocks, you could pop yourself up on a block and sit on the block. That can make life a little bit more comfortable there. And if we're okay on the floor, then we'll sit and close the eyes. Let's take a big roll of the shoulders up and back, and then drop the shoulders down away from the ears. And just let yourself get comfortable in your seat here for a moment. Listen to the sound of your breath. Let everything slow down a little bit here. Sometimes things can move quicker around us than we really need them to. So we can harness this power to slow things down, to lessen the pace a little bit. So listen to the sound of your breath, in and out through your nose. Take this opportunity to feel everything. We don't do that often enough because we're so busy paying attention to what's happening around us that we don't pay much attention to what's happening inside. So again, harness this power to slow things down, to observe, to notice. And bring your hands together right in front of your heart and bow your head. And take this moment, gratitude, and in honor of this practice. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, sigh it out. And then let's bring the head back to center and take your arms down by your sides. So if you are not sitting in a cross-legged seat and you want to come into that now that you know that we're not just going to be sitting still, you can do that now. If it's still no good as far as an injury, then sit with your legs extended out in front of you or sit on your heels, whichever feels more comfortable, okay? We're going to take the arms down by the sides and then turn the palms so that the palms are facing up and the fingernails, walk your fingernails away so your fingernails are really just, or the tips of your fingers are really just touching down there. And then take a big breath in as you reach your arms all the way up, and maybe you start to glance up just a little bit. It's not a big tip of the head back at all. It's just a really subtle glance up with the eyes. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart and bow your head down. Chin comes down towards the chest as the thumbs come into the sternum. Okay, then again, take your arms out wide. Take an inhale as you reach your arms up, start to glance up. And as you exhale, press the palms together as you bow your head. One more time, just like this. Inhale, reach up. And exhale as you bow. Let's add a little twist into this. So inhale, reach your arms up once again. And this time as you exhale, take a turn out to the right. Take your right hand back behind you. Take your left hand onto your right knee or your right thigh. And just gently use your arms here to turn your chest a little bit further out to the right. So you'll start to feel the left shoulder coming forward closer to the feet if you're sitting cross-legged. And that right shoulder moves back behind you. And the chest turns out to the right, but the navel is still facing forward, right? So we're not turning at the navel. Well, we are turning at the navel from just above the navel. Take a roll of that right shoulder down, so the shoulder's moving away from the ears, and just let your head relax so you're not trying to strain or force the neck in any direction there. Then inhale, come back up to center, take your arms all the way up, and then as you exhale, we're gonna go the other way. So take a twist out to the left. So left hand back behind you, right hand to your left thigh, and use the arms to guide the chest further around to the left. And again, that right shoulder is gonna come forward a bit, and the left shoulder is gonna go back a bit. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Take your arms up to the sky. We're going to go again. Exhale over to the right. Deep breath out. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Arms up. And then exhale over to the left. And inhale, come all the way back up to center. And as you exhale, take your arms down by your sides. Okay, so from here, let's start to roll over the knees and come into a tabletop position. So coming onto hands and knees, hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Take your left arm here, and we're going to thread it under the right and reach as far away as possible as you come down onto the left side of your face here. So just rest the left side of your face down. And your hips are going to start to sway over to the right here automatically. So gently bring the hips back to the left a little bit. Push a little bit more into that right hand. So again, you're turning the chest out to the right. So the right shoulder starts to lift up away from the mat there. Another breath. And then come back into your tabletop. So press into that right hand and come back up. Then take the right hand, thread it under the left, rest onto the back of the right shoulder, the right side of the face. And again, press into the left hand so you roll a little bit further back onto the back of the right shoulder and you feel the left shoulder lift up away from the floor. Hips have probably kind of started to skew out to the left there, so just bring the hips back to the right a little bit. You can just relax your head. There's nowhere that you need to be looking. And then we're going to come back into that tabletop. So come back to your hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide, press into the pads of the fingers. Then inhale, dip the belly down as you lift the bum and lift the chest. Take the shoulders back as if you're creating a U shape between the center of your chest and your tailbone. And then exhale, round, push the floor away, hug the navel up, chin into the chest. And do that again. Inhale, dip the belly down, lift the bum, lift the chest. And exhale, round, push away, hug the navel up. And one more time, inhale for cow, dip the belly down. And exhale, push, cat. Then come back into a flat back, into a neutral spine. And then walk your hands forward about hand length. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes under. Sit the bum back to the heels. And then come forward, bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. Feel your hips come forward, but don't let the hips drop down. So you should feel your core engaging to hug up. So if you think about every part of your body here that's facing the mat, so the fronts of your thighs, your belly, the chest, hug it up back into the body, and then sit the bum back towards the heels. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. So inhale, come forward into that modified plank variation. Arms stay straight, turn your inner elbow creases forward and hug the navel up into the body. Then exhale, sit back to the heels. And then again, inhale, come forward. Don't let those hips drop down. You should really feel the core engaged there. Exhale, sit back. And just 2 more times like that. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, go back. Last time. Inhale, and then exhale. Now inhale, come forward again into that modified plank, but this time lift your knees so you're in a full-on plank, and then lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Separate your feet a little bit wider, maybe your hands come a little bit wider. Go into a pedal here, pedal out through the arms and through the legs. Let one knee bend deeply as the other leg straightens. And then come to center, spread the fingers wide, push forward into the hands, take the weight back into the heels. Then lift the heels up on an inhale. And as you exhale, sink the heels down towards the earth. Then walk your feet forward to your hands, and we'll come to the front of the mat and we'll wind up in a forward fold. So feet about hips distance apart, but go wider there if you're feeling especially tight through the back of the body, maybe the backs of the legs, or up through the low back. Feel free to bend the knees as much as is necessary and take the feet a little bit wider. Drop the crown of the head down. Give the head a little shake out there. Yes, no. Maybe you've got opposite elbows here. Maybe your arms are dangling. Maybe your hands are down. And then once you're kind of settled in that fold and it's not so shocking to the system, again, take a little pedal there. Keep the head relaxed. And then come to center, soften the knees, and roll up to stand. Take your time as you roll up, nice and slow. And then roll the shoulders back, turn the palms to face forward, nice and strong into the belly, into the front body, so engage the thighs. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And open your eyes. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, press your palms together, bend your knees, and fold. Come all the way down. Half sun salutation. Inhale, rise up halfway. So we want to lengthen into a flat back here. So straighten your legs. And if the backs of your legs are really tight, you're going to need to slide your hands up a little bit further, and that's fine. But just come to a place where you can straighten your legs and find a flat back. Then when you fold back down, let your knees bend and get really heavy through the upper body. So I want you to feel like you're supported by your legs, but the upper body is really heavy, dropping you down towards your mat. Then inhale as you roll up, take your arms all the way up towards the sky, reach up. And then exhale, arms down by your sides. Let's go again just like that. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, fold, press the palms, bend the knees, fold. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen into a flat back. If you've got more space in the backs of your legs, you might wind up on fingertips, or maybe even the hands stay flat, but you really want to make sure that you've got a flat back and the shoulders are pulling back. Then exhale, let the knees soften and drop back down. And then inhale, roll up to stand. Take your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, arms down by your sides. And again, just like that. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, press the palms and fold. Soften the knees. Inhale, Rise up halfway into that flat back. And then exhale, fold again. Soften the knees to drop down. And inhale, roll up. Take your arms up to the sky. And exhale, arms down by your sides. Okay, so let's bring the feet together here. So we're going to bring the feet all the way together so that your big toes are touching. I want you to bring your weight back into your heels a little bit there. So maybe even lift your toes so you know that you're sitting back into your heels. Then start to squeeze your knees together as you bend your knees, okay? You don't have to bend a ton, but we're gonna bend so that the bum sits down and the knees are hugging together, but you wanna make sure that the weight is sitting back into the heels rather than knees pitching forward past the toes. So keep the knees over the ankles, but try to keep your bum from going miles back, right? So keep your belly nice and strong. Hug the thighs, hug the knees in towards each other. Now, take your arms straight out in front of you and hug the upper arms in towards each other. Okay, so hug in, squeeze in. It doesn't mean that we're bringing the hands in towards each other, right? So it's the upper arms that we're squeezing in towards each other. And then what I want you to do is keep that squeezing in action and lift your arms as high as is accessible. Plug the shoulders down and keep hugging the upper arms in towards each other. Belly stays nice and strong, weight is still in the heels. Now take another deep breath. Then as you exhale, start to straighten your legs and fold forward. Come all the way down into another forward fold. This time our feet are together, so this might feel a little more intense for your body, so feel free to bend your knees a little bit here. And then inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen into a flat back and into straight legs. So pull the shoulders back. Then as you exhale, you want to get your hands all the way down flat. So bend your knees as much as you need to do that. Step your right foot to the back of the mat. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. And we wind up in a plank. Take an inhale here, plug the shoulders back. You can take your knees down for this or leave them up. Lower yourself down in a straight line to your belly. Point your toes. Keep your hands where they are. Hug the elbows in. Lift the shoulders, roll them back. Lift up into a low cobra. So only far enough that you really feel your back muscles fire up. Press down into the tops of the feet. Breathe in. And then breathe out lower. Tuck the toes. Options are, option one is you're going to wave the body up into your downward facing dog. Option two will be to lift back through your chaturanga to your plank. So you can do that with your knees up or down, but we're going to push in that straight line back and then downward facing dog. Okay? Let the heels drop down and spend a few moments here. Again, maybe go into a pedal. Pedal through the arms, pedal through the legs. And then let's bring the feet together so that the big toes are touching. Take an inhale as you start to bring your right knee up into your chest. Lift up high onto the left toes and shift forward as you step that right foot forward between the hands. Help it the rest of the way as needed. Then take your left foot over to the left a little bit and bend nice and deep into that right knee. Take your left heel down to the mat. So we're going to turn it in and down. Bend deep into the right knee, press through the legs and rise up, warrior one. So nice deep bend in that right knee. Left hip is moving forward rather than opening out to the left. So our upper body here is facing forward towards the front of the mat. Arms reaching high. Deep bend in that right knee without pitching forward in the upper body or leaning back. We want to have a nice straight line up from the pelvis along the torso. Take another breath there. Then bring your hands all the way back down. Pivot back to the ball of the back foot. Step back to plank. Now try not to lift your bum as you step back to plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, knees up or down. I'll show you the knees down variation this time. We want to keep that straight line through the body as we come down. Point the toes. Press down through the tops of the feet. Hug the elbows in, shoulders back. Low cobra. So feel those back muscles fire. Press down into the feet and then lower. You have the option of how you're going to get back into your down dog. It's either going to be a wave or it's going to be a press back with your knees up or down, and then downward facing dog. Slow the breath, ears in line with the upper arms. Now bring your feet together, big toes touch. Start to lift up onto the ball of the right foot as the left knee comes into the chest. Round through the back body, shift forward, and then step that left foot forward between the hands. Take the right foot to the right, take the right heel down. Bend nice and deep into the left knee. Press through that left foot and rise up. Warrior one, other side. So right leg is nice and straight, turning the right hip forward, strong through the belly, deep bend in that left knee. Take another breath. Then plant the hands back down, pivot to the ball of the back foot, step back, plank. Take an inhale, knees up or down. We lower down in a straight line, point the toes. Low cobra, hug the elbows in, lift up, press down through the hips and the tops of the feet. Then lower, tuck the toes, and wave it back to down dog or press it back to your plank, knees up or down. Sink the heels. Push forward into the hands, breathe. Slow, deep breaths. Last breath. And then start to look forward at that space between your hands. Come up onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees a little bit. Keep your bum up high. Try not to lower your bum. And then start to walk, tiptoe your feet forward, back up to your hands. So you're back in a forward fold. Bring your feet together again, big toes touching. So bend the knees a little bit if that's better. Then inhale, rise up halfway, flat back, straight legs. And then exhale, fold again, drop back down. Get really heavy through the upper body. And start to bend your knees here. Remember, we sit back into the heels. We squeeze the thighs and the knees together. And press down into the heels. Start to lift your upper body up. Hug your upper arms in towards each other. And then lift the arms as high as is comfortable. Hugging in through the belly. Take another breath. And then stand up, all the way up, arms down by your sides. Let's do that again. Similar, maybe similar, but same but different. Bend your knees and arms come back up. Take an inhale. And then exhale, straighten your legs and fold. And drop down. Now when we come into this fold, shift the weight forward a little bit into the fronts of the feet. Get heavier through the upper body. Then inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen into that flat back. And then exhale, as you bend your knees, bring your hands down, step back into plank. Take an inhale. Exhale through your push-up down to your belly. Point your toes, low cobra, roll the shoulders back, hug in through the upper arms. Then as you exhale, lower, tuck the toes and press it back or wave it back, downward facing dog. Start to walk your feet together, bringing the big toes to touch. As you inhale, you're gonna lift up onto the ball of the left foot as the right knee comes into the chest. Now look at that space between your hands. Shift forward, keep the bum high. Keep the knee high as you shift forward, and then step that right foot as far forward as accessible. Help it up the rest of the way. Left foot goes to the left, left heel goes down, bend deep into that right knee, push into the right foot and rise up into your warrior one. So again, hips are facing forward, right leg nice and straight and strong. Press into the the pinky edge of that left foot so you're not rolling in, you're not buckling in onto that ankle. Another big breath here. Then bring your hands all the way back down. Pivot to the ball of the back foot. Step back into plank without lifting your bum any higher than it is. Inhale. And then exhale your high to low through your chaturanga. Point your toes. Inhale, hug those elbows in, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes and press it back to plank or wave it to your downward facing dog. Lock your feet together. You're coming on the ball of the right foot this time as the left knee lifts up into the chest. Round, stay high. Keep going higher, higher, higher as you shift forward and then step the left foot through the hands. Right foot hops to the right, put the right heel down. Bend deep into the left knee, press down and rise up, warrior one. Straight and strong through the right leg. Press into the pinky edge of the right foot. Another breath in. And then exhale, bring your hands all the way down, pivot to the ball of the back foot. So we're in plank on the right side of the body. We're gonna keep the bum where it is and go back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, all the way down in your straight line down. Point your toes, low cobra. And then lower. Tuck the toes, pull it back to your downward facing dog, however you want to get there. Sink the heels. Stay nice and long through the back of the neck. Slow the breath. And then let's bring the feet together once again. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Bend your knees, look forward. And then again, keep the bum high as you tiptoe your feet to your hands. Wind up in a forward fold with your feet together. Shifting the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Relax the head. Then inhale, rise up halfway to lengthen into your flat back. And exhale, fold. And then start to hug the knees and the thighs together as you bend the knees. Lift your upper body, hug your upper arms in towards each other as you reach your arms to the sky. And then stand up, arms by your sides. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh out, let it go. Now let's stand with the feet about hips distance apart. So separate your feet a little bit there. Arms by your sides, take a big breath in, reach up. And as you exhale this time, we're gonna swan dive. So reach your arms away from each other, lead with the chest, and come all the way back down, forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen into a flat back and straight legs. And then as you exhale, soften your knees so that you can bring your hands down and step your right foot to the back of the mat, just your right foot. Stay on the ball of the right foot this time, so don't put the heel down. Deep bend in the left knee. Drop the hips down so that the hips are in line with the front knee. So we don't have the hips up high, but we're not going super low here either, right? There's no loosey-goosey. So the hips are just in line with that front knee. And again, we're not putting that back heel down. We're gonna press it straight back towards the wall back behind you. Then press down through that left foot and we're gonna come up for a high lunge here. And you might find when you come up that it's a bit too much of a stretch in the front of the right hip and thigh. So soften the right knee a little bit there if necessary. Otherwise, you can keep that leg straight. Want to make sure that we're not arching through the low back there, okay? So keep the low belly nice and strong and pulling back, keeping the low back nice and long. Take your arms up, plug your shoulders down, hug your upper arms in towards each other once again, and breathe. Another breath there. Now start to bring your hands together as you bring your hands towards your chest. Shift your weight forward into that left foot. So now you're going to feel your upper body pitch forward a little bit here. Step in a little bit with that right foot, and then take all of the weight into the left foot as you take your right leg straight back behind you. Now straighten into your left leg, straighten into your right leg, turn the right toes to face down and press that right heel back super strong. Breathe. One more. Now slowly start to bend into the left knee and go right back into that lunge. So put the right foot down, ball of the right foot, heel is still up. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, take your right hand down under your right shoulder. Keep your left arm up to the sky and twist. Again, we want to make sure the hips aren't high here, right? They're in line with that front knee. Left arm up to the sky. Really turn the chest so you feel that left shoulder move back in space, and you'll feel the right shoulder come forward towards the left knee. Reach up. Hug in through that left hip a lot there, and you'll feel a nice big stretch there. One more breath. Okay, now take your left hand down. Send it straight back into plank. Don't lift your bum. Take an inhale, and then exhale to the belly. High to low. Point the toes. Low cobra. We're sticking with the low cobras today, firing up those back muscles. Press down through the hips, hug in. Then lower down. Tuck the toes and take it back to your down dog, however you want to get there. Okay, now let's bring the feet together again. Big toes touching. Lift up onto the ball of the left foot as the right knee comes up into the chest. Round, stay high, keep the hands planted, look forward, and then step right foot forward between the hands. Now, this side we're going to take the hands forward of that right foot, shift the weight into the right foot, and then extend the left leg back. Now, keep your right knee bent this time. So bent knee on the right knee, left leg super straight and strong. Okay, turn the left toes down towards the mat. So the left thigh, the left knee is facing down. Take one more breath, lift the chest, and then put the left foot down, feet hips distance, and fold there. Heavy through the upper body, drop down. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen into a flat back, straight legs, and then exhale, fold again. Now when we come up, we're going to reverse the swan dive. So start to reach your arms out wide. Think about the backs of your shoulders and your back body lifting up. Use your bum, use your legs to rise all the way up. Take your arms to the sky. And then as you exhale, we're going to swan dive straight back down. And then inhale, rise up halfway, lengthening into a flat back and straight legs. Then soften the knees so you can get your hands all the way down. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. All the way back. So again, we want the bum in line with the front knee, so not too high there. So you got a deep bend in that right knee. Right knee is right over the right ankle. Press that left leg super straight and strong for now. Push down into that right foot, and then we're going to rise up for high lunge, reaching your arms up to the sky. And again, you might find you want to soften the back knee a little bit. That's fine. Or you can have the leg nice and straight. Just make sure you're not doing that arch through the back body. You're not feeling any compression in your low back. Pull the belly back. Stay long through the back body. Hug in through the upper arms. Breathe. And then bring your hands to your heart. Start to shift your weight forward into that right leg and foot. Step the left foot in, and then take all of the weight into the right leg. Both legs nice and straight and strong here. Turn the left toes down, kick the left heel back. Breathe. One more breath. Then start to bend into the right knee. Put that left foot back where it was and come back into your lunge. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, left hand comes down under the left shoulder, right arm up to the sky. So again, you're going to feel that left shoulder coming forward, right shoulder moving back. Deep bend in the right knee. Another breath in. Then right hand down. Keep the bum where it is. Step back to plank. Take an inhale and exhale to the belly. Point the toes, hug the elbows in, low cobra. And then lower all the way down, tuck the toes and pull it back, downward facing dog. And breathe. And bring the big toes to touch once again. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. As your left knee comes into your chest, stay high, push, round, and step. Left foot to the hands. Bring your hands forward of your left foot. Shift your weight into your left foot. Left knee is going to stay bent this time. We're going to kick that right leg back super strong. Right toes, right knee, right thigh facing down. One more breath. And then put the right foot down. Feet hips distance and fold. Inhale. Rise up halfway to lengthen. And exhale. Fold. Drop down. Let's grab onto opposite elbows here. Let's take the feet even a little bit wider there. And take a sway. Side to side. Really heavy. Through the upper body. Press down through the feet. Relax through the head. And then come to center. Let's walk the feet together, all the way together again. Soften the knees quite a lot here. And then roll yourself up. Nice and slowly to come to stand. Take your time, and when you come up, roll your shoulders back. And stand with your eyes closed. You might feel a little bit wobbly here because we were upside down for a little bit there. You've just come up, your feet are together, your eyes are closed, you're already in a balance. So focus on the muscles that you need to engage to stay standing. Trust yourself that you can stay standing even if you wobble a little. We all wobble a little. And then open your eyes and bring your hands to your heart. We're going to start to send the weight into the left foot. So we stand on the left leg and the right knee is going to come up into the chest. Then take a hold of your right knee with your left arm and take your right arm up to the sky. Now start to turn your right palm to face out. So it's facing out towards the right. And then rotate that right arm all the way back behind you, turning your chest out to the right and reaching that right shoulder back. You'll feel your left shoulder come forward a little bit. If you can take your gaze with you out to the right, you can do that. Otherwise, you can keep your head facing forward. We've got one more breath there. Then slowly come back to center. Take the right arm up to the sky. Bring the right hand onto the right knee, hold there. We'll come into tree pose here for a moment. So bring the bottom of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. You can go low or high on the left leg. Bring your hands to your heart. Or if you want to grow your tree, interlace your hands and reach your arms up overhead for today. Drop the shoulders down, hug the belly back. One more breath. And then hands come back down to the heart. And we step the right foot back down right next to the left. Take your left knee up into your chest. Take a hold of your left knee with your right hand. Take your left arm up to the sky. Then start to rotate that left hand around out to the left and reach that left arm back behind you. Feel the left shoulder roll back as you turn your chest out to the left. Stay strong through the belly. Try not to lean back. Stand strong. Then slowly bring that left hand back up. Come back to center. Bring your left hand onto your left knee. Then we'll come into tree pose. So bottom of the left foot comes to the inside of the right leg. Lower high, hands to the heart, or grow the tree, interlacing your hands up overhead. And then hands back to the heart. And release the left foot. Give the legs a shake. And then let's bring the feet a little bit wider than the hips there. Turn the toes out. And we're going to come down from Alasana. So we're going to take the bum down. If your heels lift here, fine. You can let the heels lift. You can keep your hands down for support. If your heels will go down, then bring your elbows into your inner knees. Bring your hands to your heart and lift your chest. So we're going to try not to round into the back body here. We're going to try to keep the chest lifting. And close the eyes. Just settle here. And then start to remove your elbows from inside of your knees. Let your knees come in towards each other as you sit your bum down and extend your legs out. So let's sit. We'll keep the feet out in front and we'll bring the hands behind the thighs. Roll the shoulders back, lean back, and then lift the lower legs for Navasana here. And then I want you to hold a little bit further down. So rather than behind your thighs, see if you can grab onto either your sides of your shins, your ankles there, or you might even be able to grab your feet. But what's important here is that you don't grab too far away, that you round through your shoulders, just as my shoulders are doing now. So you want to be able to pull the chest forward into the thighs and pull the shoulders back. You should really feel your core working hard here. Keep the shoulders pulling back wherever you're holding on to here. Just keep pulling back. Take another few breaths. Another big breath. And then release your feet, but don't put them down yet. We're going to inhale, open up just a little bit. Feel your knees get a little bit further from your chest. And then exhale, come back up. Just 2 more like that. Inhale, open up. Exhale, come back up. 1 more. Inhale. And then exhale. And then give your knees a hug in. You can put your feet down. And then we're going to come down onto the back. So lie down. Bring your feet to the mat. So your knees are bent. And we'll bring the feet about as wide as the mat here. Take your arms out, either go for a T shape or maybe goalpost, bending the elbows. Let your knees knock side to side a few times. So we'll keep the feet as wide as they are and let the knees knock side to side so the knees aren't touching each other as they knock around. And then come back to center. Walk your feet in a little bit now so your feet are about hips distance apart. Take your arms down by your sides, nice and close to your body there. Almost as if you're starting to bring your arms underneath you a little bit. So if you start to kind of nestle your arms under your body a little bit there. Then walk your heels back to your bum as close to your bum as is accessible for your body, right? You don't have to, I can reach my heels, but I think that's because my arms are really, really long. So pay no attention to that. If you can reach your feet, that's fine. If not, it doesn't matter. We're going to press down into the feet here and we're going to lift up. So we're going to start to lift up through the hips and then the low back and the middle back. And we're going to try and get all the way up to the shoulder blades. And then we're going to really nestle the arms all the way under the body there. Try and get the upper arms underneath you. press down through your feet. Press down through your hands and through your arms and breathe. Keep the back of the head resting back. Try not to lift the head up around here. And another big breath in. Use those legs. And then slowly release your arms and lower all the way back down. Bring your right knee up into your chest. Bring your left knee up into your chest. Take your arms out again into a wide T shape or goalposts. And then let's let the knees drop to the right to twist. Now, we want to keep the back of the left shoulder down here. We don't want to rock so much onto the right side of the body here that we lose that twist. So if somebody was going to look down at you, right, and just see you from your chest up to the top of your head, it would be as though you're just lying flat on your back, right? The back of that left shoulder is down. But then looking at the lower half of the body, obviously, in that twist. You can close your eyes here. You can start to settle in if that feels good. Sometimes I like to straighten my legs a little bit here, get more into that left hip, left IT band. But you see what feels right for you today. And then start to bring your knees back in, back to center, and then knees over to the left. And we want to keep the back of the right shoulder back and down this time. If you want to extend the legs a little bit here, if that feels good, you can do that. And then let's come back to center. Bring the knees back to center, into your chest, and give them a hug in, a little rock around there too. And then bring your legs down, bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees knock out wide, and bring your hands to rest on your belly. And close your eyes. Slow your breath right down. Slow everything around you down. Harness this power. And then if it's more comfortable for you to extend your legs out, at any time you're ready, you can extend your legs out, let your feet flop out to the sides. Now is a good time if you want to grab a blanket, if you want to turn the lights down or close the blinds, close the curtains, put some music on. If you have Spotify and you aren't sure what music to play, I love Beautiful Chorus for Shavasana. Any of their songs are pretty great. So, or just get yourself comfortable. Silence is also pretty perfect. When you're comfortable, close your eyes, get settled. Imagine yourself laying on an empty beach. For miles and miles, there's not a soul around. It's warm. There's a breeze. You're laying right in the sand. You feel the sun warming your whole body. The soft sand molding around you, creating this perfect space where you're warm, you're safe, you're held. You can hear the water, the light waves rolling. You feel the breeze in your hair. You feel safe and warm and held. Every breath that you take gets a little slower. Bringing you closer and closer to each moment. Each moment that you are safe and warm and held. Now let your breath start to get a little deeper. But stay with this feeling, this warmth, for as long as you can. Take a big stretch. Reach your arms overhead, extend your legs. And then bend your knees, relax your arms, and roll over onto your side. When you're ready, come back up to your seat. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow your head in gratitude for all of your many, many, many blessings. Thanks for sharing with me today. Namaste. Thanks, yogis.